For the people 416.
And it's your boy Ricardo S. And you're watching For the People 416.
For the people 416. For the people 416.
Welcome, guys. Today isn't about politics, it's about the people, for the people, 416. So every night I document individuals sleeping on buses, sidewalks, transit across Toronto. Behind every photo is someone's mother, father, son, or a friend. Our goal today is to have an honest conversation about what we can do today together to restore dignity, improve mental health support, and create real partnership that leads to change. Today we have an important question for moral candidate.
Lyle Sanders.
Nice to meet you, Lyle. Ricardo S. Okay.
I've been excited about this. I mean, you and I have been talking about this for a few days now, and I've been quite excited to come.
It's been a while. So I have a few questions here for you today for our city. What you think about homelessness in Toronto? What do you believe is the biggest issue that isn't receiving enough attention?
Okay, first of all, and this is something that I've said to numerous people, is people think of homelessness as one thing. Mm-hmm. It's not just one thing. We're using the one word that encompasses so many things. Now, I was homeless 10 years ago, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, you look at my videos and you'll see there's actually one of the main ones I'm talking to a young lady who lives under the bridge, one of the bridges downtown. I wasn't in that severe of a situation. I was fortunate that I was staying at a shelter and they provided meals for us. I was very, very fortunate. There were some of the people there that had jobs to go to. The reason why I was there was because the place that I was living in was unlivable, and I had to leave. I had to leave, and then I wasn't able to get another place to live. So, as I say, many, many different reasons will create homelessness for people. Two of the ones that are difficult in so many ways and really need to be addressed in their own way is that when people have mental health issues, and I was talking with somebody today when I was at the corner of Danforth and Broadview, and one of the fellows said, there's a lot of people that don't want to go into shelters.
No, because I've been in the shelters and I'm going to tell you right now, they don't give a shit. We had workers taking these gift cards and giving it to their kids, and they know themselves.
For the people 416.
Well, there's another thing too, which is part of that. So we used to have an office on Yonge Street at Richmond, and there was a fellow that was regularly sleeping on the vent there, and I would see him most of the time. He was asleep. But on one of the occasions, I walked past him and I just said to him, "What can I do?" And he said, "Do you have do you have any money?" He said, "I'm hungry." I said, "Do you want to go get a meal?" And so I said, "Sure." So we just went down the street, and he had something in his hand that he kept touching, and he said, "Can I feed my friend?" I said, "Sure." And I thought he had a mouse in his hand, and he kept talking to him. And when we got the food, and I realized that, I said, "You know what? We have to get you into a shelter." And he was very, very meek and mild. Some people have this opinion that the people are out there have this kind of attitude or they act this way. He was very, 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 very meek. And I said, "We need to get you into a shelter." And he said, "They make fun of me there." So a shelter is not what he needs. He needs a place where he can be cared for.
And there's none in Toronto. Not one of that in Toronto. Toronto, you guys need to do better.
Well, so in continuing with that, so this is the thing, is that mental health issues are part of healthcare.
See?
We need to get better support from the province to make sure that we have places for people.
Yes.
For the people 416.
This is another thing that came to me as I'm going along, and I always have my mind open to try and figure out how can we deal with things. And people ask me questions. And by the way, if you see me somewhere, don't be afraid to come up to me and say, "This is what's on my mind." We were mentioning, we were talking about this earlier. I want to be accessible. You see me on the TTC and you got something on your mind, you please come and talk to me, because it helps me to better understand what everybody needs. So I had to take my niece to the emergency room back a couple of weeks ago. And while we were there, a number of people who came in, I could tell were homeless or they were dealing with mental health issues. And the thing is, that's taking time away from the regular emergency services. And people have said to me, well, why should we be supporting these people? Well, if nothing else, give them a place to be. Give them a place where they can feel safe. One fellow came in, and I think the only reason why he came in was because he wanted a place to lie down. Isn't that awful to think that a person has to go to an emergency room to have a place to lie down or to get a snack or something like that? So if we properly fund places for people with mental health issues, then they can be safe.
For the people 416.
And as was mentioned before, this could be a member of your family, this could be a mother, father, brother, sister, and I know a number of people who say, we don't even know where this member of our family is because they're homeless and they completely disappeared. So everybody needs to keep that in mind. As far as mental health goes, it could be you. You get into a car accident, something happens, you get a brain injury, and suddenly now you're not thinking the same way as you are right now. A chemical change in your body. There are so many reasons why mental health issues could come upon you. Depression.
Family loss, grief, people lying on you, never having nobody to be there like me. This is why I've created For the People 416. So, what role should community organizations like For the People 416 play alongside the city if you were elected mayor?
Okay, so what should happen is that the city should be supporting these efforts, because here's the thing is, if this is something that you're doing, and I know that you're volunteering your time, you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart. Supporting what you're doing means that instead of having to hire a whole team of people to go and do it, we already have somebody who cares. And I know you mentioned that it's hard to find people that care.
It's very hard. Nobody cares. Only you and a few more other people that really see what I'm trying to do. But I think we're in a spiritual war now. A spiritual phase too, where people are not really thinking about future goals, and
you know something I'm going to say to you?
Yes.
I want people to be aware of the more positive things that are going on. The number of people that actually feel like you, that want to do something more to help people, is way, way larger than you might imagine. The thing is, they're being held back by many things. Many of them is like, how do I start? What do I do? The problem is so big. How can I be the one that makes a difference? But there's a saying, something to the effect that anybody who believes that a small group of people cannot create a group that will do big things. That's how every group that does big things starts off. You start off with 2-3 people. Okay? And that builds and builds. And all we need to be able to do is make sure that the people can get together. People will know what organizations are out there. This is, and not to take this off topic, but this is one of the ways that I hope to help youth, is that if there's a central database about about places that youth can go to, and it can be the same thing with this, a way for people to just go log in, what organizations are doing to help this, to help this, to help this, then we can connect more people. And I'm telling you, people sometimes think that people in Toronto are cold. Nobody has a conversation. As soon as you start talking to somebody, you just ask them, how things are going for you. People will talk to you. They're afraid to be the person that takes the first step.
Okay, so I got to take the first step.
You have taken the first step. Now, all we have to do is encourage other people to say, okay, yeah, I'd like to be part of what you're doing.
Okay. If you were elected mayor,
If?
what? Well, if
When I'm elected.
when you're elected
When
mayor,
I'm elected.
when you're elected mayor, what would your first 100 days look like regarding
For
homelessness
the people
and mental health?
416.
Okay. First of all, one of the things that needs to be done is we need to stop wasting so much money here. That is going to take some effort, okay? That is going to take a lot of effort. And I tell you, when I get into office, it'll be 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears.
Okay.
And it's only just recently I found out that blood, sweat, and tears is a Winston Churchill line. But 4 years of it that I'm not going to be going in there going, well, let's do a little bit and make it look like I'm doing something. The whole time when I'm there, and I've told you already, when I'm on my way to work, when I'm on my way home, come and talk to me. My job will not stop just because I left the office or before I get to the office.
Yes.
So I want people. So that's one of the things that I have to find out is be looking at what money is being wasted. Because if I do that, there will be more money for programs and for services for the people of Toronto. Okay, so the next thing is we definitely need to properly petition the provincial government to start giving back more money to the city to deal with healthcare in general and with mental health services. Okay, so those are the things that need to be done. I have been working with a friend of mine. His name is Anthony Carr. He's actually the world's most documented psychic. A little over 3 years, about 3 years ago, his mother was mistreated in a hospital and she died as a result. And we've been now working for 3 years. I'm just helping him because he's an elderly man. He can only do so much for himself to make sure that when people go to the hospital, that they're getting the proper care that they need. And there's so many good hospitals, I'll tell you. So when I took my niece to Michael Guerin the other day, and Michael Guerin, some people may not be happy I say this, Michael Guerin back a number of years ago, a decade, was not the best place to go.
Yes.
They care for people so much now. It's a very, very good hospital.
Yes.
That's one thing I'll say.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're fighting with this issue to make sure that, especially elderly people, when they get into the hospital, we thoroughly believe that some people will go, you know what, the person's old. If they don't make it through here, it's not a big, it's not, we shouldn't be worried about that. But these are people that have contributed to our society. I know that my friend Anthony, his mother, who is a very nice lady, very, very nice lady.
For the people 416.
She was a health worker here in Toronto. She worked with Sunnybrook Hospital. She drove an ambulance during the Blitz in London. She spent her life caring for other people. Okay, and Mrs. Hewen, we miss her. We definitely miss her, and we've been working hard. And that's just one of the things that we're doing. Yeah. So for the same thing, we need to have proper mental health care for those people that need that support. And what they need is, so I talked about before, the person that's on the street that's afraid to go into a shelter because of the fact that they don't believe they're going to be treated properly. Okay. That's a person that needs to be in a place where the people actually care about them. And there are so many good healthcare workers in this city. I know that you said that people don't care, but there are so many. And
well, they need to reach out to me now. Now they see this going on because we're going around with this. What do you think about this project here?
For the people 416.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. So interviewing people to find out what it is.
The youth.
Yep.
We're bringing this to non-profit organizations, introducing this project proposal, and hopefully we could do a partnership for the youth. But
so and finding out what their life is, what struggles they're dealing with is a wonderful idea, because there are people out there need to know that. They need to know that. And it's not enough to just hear in the news that this happened or that happened. When you hear something directly from the person, You know, it's, you have more of a connection with them.
Would your office support partnership with grassroots organizations documenting to realities happening on Toronto streets like this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As I said before, we need to better support youth because
For the
we
people
need,
416.
first of all, we need things in place, programs in place that will give the younger than teen group things to do, things that are positive so that they can get positive affirmation, so that they can be creative, so they can feel their worth, and people will let them know that. Because if we do that, they're not going to be looking for affirmation in places that are not good places when they get to be teens. And that's a problem, you know? We all want somebody to be able to recognize the talent that we have, the things that we possibly can do. And if you don't give them the opportunity to find that out when they're younger, they're going to get to be teens and somebody's going to say to them, hey, let's go do fill in the blank.
Exactly.
And when they do, somebody says, hey, wow, you're the man. Hey, you're really, really good. And then unfortunately they get trapped
For
in
the
these
people
things
416.
because somebody is taking the time to make them feel good about what they're doing.
How can businesses, churches, nonprofits, and community leaders work together instead of operating separately?
Okay, I don't want to bring a negative to this. There have been churches that have split on the fact that this is the way that you do the service, or this is the way you do the service. And so it's unfortunate, you know, they say, okay, sorry, we can't work with you because you've got a different idea. The thing I will say is, we need more people getting together and say, you know what, we may not agree on everything, but some things we do agree on. And one of the things I believe everybody will agree on is the fact that people need to be supported, people need to be looked after. So I think the whole thing will be to find common ground in what you want to do. Think about what it is that you want to do. If your organization or your church or whatever your business group say, this is something we can definitely agree on. Don't worry about the differences. You know, there has to be differences in the world. The world would be absolutely boring if everybody had exactly the same idea.
For the people
And we don't want to
416.
argue about these things. I'm going to tell you something else. People keep asking me, and I actually had a discussion with some young fellas at the festival at Nathan Phillips Square the other day. And it's like, what do you think about this specific thing? There are people who keep asking me, what do you think about the war between this group and this group? And it's not a matter of which groups they are. It's a matter of the fact that there are groups that are warring with each other. This is something I'm going to say to you. If people would stop fighting against each other, you're much stronger as a group. And I'll tell you this story. So I'm Blackfoot Cree. My grandma is. My mother told me when I was a boy that this was an unusual combination. And I didn't find this out until just a few years ago. So the Blackfoot and the Cree she told me they were enemies. What happened was the Cree were pushed into the area that was traditional territory of the Blackfoot because of governments and, you know, settlements going, and they got pushed into the area. So they got into disagreements, they got into fights. And it's one thing to have a disagreement with somebody, it's one thing to have an argument. As soon as somebody dies, it changes everything. There's no way in the world that you can just apologize for somebody dying. It's not enough. It never will be enough. So that made things worse. The person that died was the son of the chief of the Blackfoot. But he said, you know what? We have to stop fighting with each other. We have got other things. We've got bigger things that we have to fight against. If we're fighting against each other, then we can't do that. So he allowed that war to end. I will tell you, and it doesn't matter which group it is, if you're here in Canada, Group A is fighting against Group B. So Group A has 100,000 people, Group B has 100,000 people. They may be disagreeing with something that's going on in another country, but governments are the ones that initiate wars. If you talk to the people in those countries, in
They
general,
don't want no war.
they don't want any war. They want that to end. So why is it that Group A is fighting against Group B here when what they would do better is get together? Now you've got 200,000 people that are working from a single voice, and that 200,000 people are a much bigger force to go to the government and say, you must stop this.
That's why our nonprofit organization, For the People 416, is building partnerships to provide cooked meals, community storytelling, youth mentorship, and outreach for people experiencing homelessness. Would you be willing to provide a letter of support, recognition our work, and engage in collaboration between grassroots organization and the city?
I would definitely be willing to do that. We'll sit down and we'll talk about, because I want to know more about the organization.
Yes.
Then as mayor, then these are the kinds of things that we need to support. We need to support to make sure that these things are possible.
Yeah, because people in our city, we have countless people. Like, two of my friends decided they were gonna take their own lives because we can't pay our rent out here.
For the People 416.